Nope.
All right, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Tara, host of Educator Moves. I'm really excited to speak to our guest today, who is also an educator and will be sharing about their fitness journey. Just want to start us off by reminding why we are here. With Educator Moves, it is simply one thing, a vision to foster and inspire a community of educators to profoundly improve our quality of life through physical and mental lifestyle changes. And we want to carry that out through a strong mission. The top three things in that mission are to provide, educate, and empower. So in that, provide a safe space to engage in collaborative conversation and connection, which we're going to do today. Educate our customer or anyone who's watching that overall health and well-being is connected to your physical and mental status, and also empower you to engage in a healthier habit that will lead to an overall improved sense of well-being. So with that said, and without further ado, I'd like to introduce you today to my invited guest, Mr. Rick Growl. He's an educator, a graphic designer, a runner, a fitness lover, among other things. So welcome, welcome, welcome
Thank you.
today, and let's get right into it. Would you tell us who you are again, and where you are, how many years you've been in education, and what do you love about fitness?
Absolutely. So again, my name is Rick Growl. I'm the digital media facilitator at the Satellite Center. We're located in Luling, Louisiana, which is a small town, probably about 30 minutes outside of New Orleans. I've been teaching for this is my 18th year, and
Wow.
yeah, and what's interesting, I didn't come from a teaching background. I went to school to be a graphic designer. In the place that I'm currently working at, I've been at this one school since it opened in 2005. I'm kind of considered the OG at the school. I'm one
Oh.
of one of the last original people, from that first group of people that were hired. That one of the last people that are still here. So it's been awesome to see this place grow and uh, just kind of find itself and develop its culture over the last 18 years. So yeah, and I teach digital media, so I get to teach something that I love doing professionally before I became a teacher. And since becoming a teacher, I've gone back to school and got my teaching certificate and got my master's degree and all of those things.
Wow, that is really exciting. So are you teaching middle school, high school?
Teaching high school. So the Satellite Center, well, in St. Charles Parish, we have two high schools, Hornville High School and Destrehan High School. And rather than the school district spending a lot of money in class on specific classes, elective classes at both of the high schools, they built this one center. So kids sign up to take our classes, and we offer all elective classes. Um, so they sign up to take our classes, and then they're here for half a day and then go back to their base high schools for the other half of the day to take their core classes.
Wow, that's an interesting design. I don't think I've heard of that before. At least not when I was in high school, which
No, no,
I
no.
won't tell. It's been several years, but
Well,
um,
same here.
that's really exciting because even with what you do, I mean, social media and graphic design and all of that is so big right now, AI.
Yep.
So you really truly are preparing kids for an immediate future, whether they're currently in high school or when they leave. So how does that
Absolutely.
feel to make that
Uh,
kind of impact?
no, it's amazing. And that's one of the things we focus on. Like we teach them the content of our classes, and this is across all the classes that we have here. Um, but it's also a focus on those soft skills. And I was having a conversation with one of my team members today, and she was saying, like, man, like Mr. Grau, I wish we had a class that they just taught us life skills, And I was like, man, that's kind of what we're teaching you in here.
Mhm.
And I think the beauty of being able to teach those things and the age level and grade level that I teach, kind of with the juniors or seniors, is that when they leave, they still stay in touch with me. And so just hearing their stories of where they're going, or they'll shoot me an email like, hey, I'm working here now, or I follow them on LinkedIn, and just to see them kind of grow and blossom is, yeah, it's rewarding. One of the rewarding parts of being an educator.
Yeah, that's amazing, you know, especially working with high school students because you're really close to their next outcome, right? And my experience is more elementary and middle school. So sometimes they leave and they come back,
Mhm.
but a lot of times they don't, right? Because
Yep.
their last experience will be high school or college and they remember that. So I hope that we are preparing them well for high school as we move along. Listen, I want to get into why we are here today, and that's kind of to talk about your fitness journey.
Mhm.
What do you love doing exercise wise, and how does that help you become or stay at your best?
That most definitely. So when I was younger, and I'm talking real young, uh, we played football, basketball, baseball, all in the neighborhood, and then I got into recreational sports. Again, football, basketball, baseball were kind of my things.
Mm,
In middle school, I played football, played basketball on the middle school team. High school, played football, and so kind of just it being part of like that athletic kind of group, I guess. Like you always working out or we're playing, we'd just be outside being active, riding bikes or, doing something. And I always just enjoyed that. And then so when I went to college, it kind of the same thing. One of the roommates that I ended up living with, he kind of got into like bodybuilding to some extent. So he and I were both always in the gym, just kind of
oh
pushing.
wow.
Yeah. And he was big into dieting as well, just kind of that whole lifestyle. Um, and then I mean I don't know, I guess from there just like I enjoy doing it. When one summer at in college I had to take a PE, so I took a running class and I never really ran before like that, and I found that I had energy all day long, and I was like, well,
Mm,
it must be just from getting up and running. And that kind of just led me to trying to stay fit. I guess making a commitment to kind of stay fit and just stay active my whole life. Plus, I hate to, well, I guess I like to admit this, but it's just fun. I have a fun time doing it. And, a lot of times I think just with work and just general life, sometimes you kind of get stuck in those ruts, but
yeah,
getting in the gym or being outside and doing some type of physical activity, it's kind of allows me to, it's going to sound weird, but almost like express my creativity through the
yeah,
type of exercises that I'm doing or through whatever workout it is that I do. So, I mean, I think that's kind of why I like to do it, and maybe kind of like leads a segue into the next kind of talking point is my method for staying fit. So I've always had a membership to a gym, even when I was in college.
I belong to three gyms right now.
See, I'm not there yet. I'm usually trying to pick the one that's closest to my house. So I used to live around where I teach at, and there was a gym within walking or jogging or biking distance to my house, and they had a pool. So that was the one that I went to.
Mhm.
But now the one that I kind of moved away, from this area. The one that I go to now is like maybe 3 miles. So it's still walkable, still joggable, still bikeable, but it's just a little bit further. So I go to the YMCA. That's where I work out. I like it because they have a pool as well as a fitness center that has free weights and all
Mhm.
the different types of machines. And then kind of along the way, man, I've been just collecting workout equipment at my house. So I have, the big tires that you can flip. I have a collection of sandbags, like you were saying earlier. I have some kettlebells. I'm that guy that you see maybe jogging through the neighborhood with the weight vest on. Like who's this weirdo like running through the neighborhood, or dragging tires in front of my house. But it's to me that's fun, or going find there's a park near my house where I can go for jogs. But they also have workout equipment, so I go out there and do pull-ups and push-ups and sit-ups and just body weight stuff. Um,
Wow. Now,
yeah, so
listen, you shared something really interesting earlier, but before we got on the recording, and that was you run in the morning time. So, have you completed any like 5Ks, half marathons, anything like that, or?
oh, most definitely. Actually, I'm signed up for a 5K. It's April 1st. It's on a Saturday. Out here in St. Charles Parish, they do a run across the Mississippi River. So you get to run across the bridge. And that's always a fun thing. And I used to do it again when I lived out here. I did it a lot. Well, I did it almost every year. But then whenever I moved away, I kind of slacked off. But ran it last year, and then this year I was like, oh, I'm gonna run it again. So yeah, many 5Ks,
Mhm.
a couple of 10Ks, Crescent City Classic, most definitely. I've done some half marathons in my life.
Okay.
Never, yeah, never done a full marathon.
Okay.
As I've gotten older, though, it's kind of gotten on my bucket list. And then I also a bike too. So I've done like small triathlons, uh,
Wow.
yeah, and then duathlons where you're running bike. Those are probably some of my favorites.
Now, I every year I want to become like the Flojo of 5Ks, but for some reason, I tend to maybe do one or two. My goal this year is to do at least three.
Okay.
And they're always challenging to me. But if you put me outside the sprint, I can do that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
what's some advice for a person to like manage that breathing piece? I think that is the biggest thing, like controlling that breathing and getting a good rhythm to their run.
No, I totally agree with it. Well, and for me, especially like on for races, and I see a lot of people do this. So it's like you always want to just start off fast. It's like boom, everybody piling up to get in the front, and then go, and then you get maybe like a half mile in, and there's so many people are just kind of dropped off and walk. And to me, even 5K, I mean, you're pacing yourself. So it's just, um, and I think that just comes with maybe experience. And I've never had a actual coach when it comes to running, but a coach, I think, or even just kind of keeping time or keeping cadence on your fitness device.
Mhm.
Those kind of things help you. But just kind of knowing that pace maybe that you want to hit or that you want to run at, and then just being disciplined enough to kind of to stay in it. And look,
Yeah.
I'm no speedster by any stretch of the imagination. As I've gotten older, I've definitely gotten a lot slower, but my body definitely takes a beating from running, and that's kind of why I started switching to the
Mhm.
bike. My legs are just hammered, so
Mhm.
the bike and I can just go. But I'm not that fast, but I got a good bit of endurance. It's kind of what
You
I
know,
like.
I did the hero run here, and it was a 5K. And I think I want to say my finish time was 43 minutes, which is great for me, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Um, but my finish time on a treadmill is always better. So I have these real lofty goals until I hit the pavement.
yeah.
So it is totally different. But one of the positives is that I really enjoy the fact that um, exercise in and of itself for me has proven to be a really great stress reliever. It helps me renew my mind. It helps me deal with the daily challenge at work as an educator. So how has it helped you as an educator, like daily at your place of employment?
In the exact same way. It just I almost view it as kind of like my recess. And look, so I'm a teacher. And all the teachers out there that listen to this, you say, yeah, no, we're all super busy. And I have a small child at home too. So like I try and can I steal 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, at least once a day to kind of get out and just do something? It might just be taking a walk, walking my dog. But if I'm walking my dog, I'll throw on a 40-pound rucksack and
Mhm.
take my dog for a walk, and it's just kind of leisurely and casual. But um, I mean, what it's done for me is just it to me, it helps me release energy. It gives me energy. It gives me, I think it helps me think clearer. And then a lot of times when I'm running or rucking or walking or I'm on a long bike ride, I'm doing a lot of decompressing and just
Mhm.
sorting things out in my brain and replaying maybe conversations that I had or thinking about what do I have to do next, generating ideas. So I think
Mhm.
just mentally it helps me just uh, become more like sound and more solid and just I don't know, a happier person to be around. Sometimes I feel like if I don't do something, if it's just work, just real grumpy and maybe
Yeah.
not even just a pleasant person to be around. So the more times that I can get out and get active and just doing something, it clears my mind and just makes me a better person.
I heard a couple of things that you mentioned that came out of that. One, that you mix up your exercise, so it's not always the same thing, but you still do something. And two, you try to save at least 30 minutes to an hour each day for yourself. And I think that's really, really important because as educators, we give a lot to everyone else. from our jobs to our students to our parents to our bosses, to just the work itself. And so it's really, really important that, we give back to who we are and what we need to do.
Yeah, you have to, because if you don't, I mean, you may end up sick or taking those days off, and then you can't be there for those people that need you. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you definitely have to, and it
And so, thank you so much for sharing some of those like basics, right? And how you're incorporating that into your life. So, if you had to share with an educator, like one of the most important things about either staying fit mentally, physically, or incorporating fitness into their current lifestyle, what would you say? What would you share?
first you can do it, but the first step is you have to do it. You can find that time, you can make that time. It doesn't have to be going to a gym, um, and devoting hours to something like that. It's just making that commitment to yourself that you want to, do something like this. And again, I think the benefits just kind of outweigh the bad things. And sometimes when I leave the gym or get finished doing a workout, I'm never in a bad mood. When I'm walking out the gym,
Yeah.
I never see people walking out the gym all grumpy, like, oh man, that was the worst thing I just did all day. No,
Yeah.
typically you're in a good mood. And I think putting yourself in that mindset is just going to help you throughout the rest of your day, and you're going to carry that home to your family, and it's just going to carry on over to work as
Mhm.
well. And sometimes sometimes I get in class and I talk to my kids sometimes about not necessarily working out, but I have one that's going into the army, and so he's going through training, and we talk about push-ups. Last semester I had one that was a boxer, and we just kind of talk about those things. But again, it's just I think making people feel comfortable,
Yeah.
kind of what they're doing. A lot of people think, and we're talking about this earlier about running. You have to get up and just go run a 5K. Man, maybe your 5K is running for a minute without stopping, or maybe it's just running down to the end of the block. And you have to start small. So start small, get out there and do it, and just make it a part of your daily routine. And it's okay to miss. It's okay to fall off, as long as you are able to kind of get back on it and kind of keep going and
Yeah.
set the goals. Yep.
I would agree. And I think I love that, what you shared almost fits into this 80-20 dynamic, that that's used for other things work wise. But when I think about it for fitness, it is more about, what, you don't have to do the same thing all the time. You don't have to start big. You can start small right where you are, walking, jogging, setting a small goal and accomplishing that, running to the end of the block. I love that you shared. I run sometimes. Sometimes I'm just walking my dog, but I'm going to add some resistance to that. And then when I'm done, my mind is going to be totally clear. I'm going to be fully available for my home, my family, my job, and most importantly, fully available for myself.
Yep.
And so I'm really, excited about, talking to you today, as well as other educators as we go through this process. But I'm super excited that there's someone on the other end of the state. I think you're about 6 hours or 5 hours away,
Yeah.
that is also just in that mindset of just staying healthy and smiling through the work. Education is not all bad,
No, no,
and the
no. Yep.
rewards are many,
Yep.
but just remembering to shine that light and that love on ourselves and staying mentally and physically fit. Is there anything else that you wanted to share just in these last few moments?
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else to share other than just getting out there. It sounds cheesy and cliche like Nike, but just getting out there and doing it.
Mm,
Um, yeah, and I mean, it's something that's kind of just become a part of me, and I'm gonna kind of keep doing something active until I can't go anymore. So, yeah,
that's amazing. Listen, I thank you so much, Mr.
you're
Growl, for
welcome.
just sharing your time today, your perspective. And I think you asked me, like, through the email, am I the right fit? You're the perfect fit. You're an educator that is staying fit mentally and physically. And that's the right conversation that I want to have.
Awesome.
And again, thank you so much for all that you do. Thank you for sharing your story today.
You're more than welcome. It was my pleasure.